Hello everyone, my name is Archer and this is more Pet of Exile 2. We're leveling a monk. So, if you're not aware of what I've been doing whenever I play Pet of Exile on the stream, first of all, go check the VODs. But also, I want to make a build around a unique item called Collapsing Horizon. So, Pet of Exile has many unique items, but there are many of them that are never used, especially because there are other better ones that people use instead. And basically, in people's mentality, there's only one quarterstaff unique, yeah, worthy to be used, and that one is Caged God. But the thing is, there are other quarterstaffs that are never used. There are other many items that are just not used because there's so much good items right now, but they are very few. Like there's like a one or two items for each like slot that people are using a lot. There's of course outliers on this mathematics, but that kind of holds true for most unique items. And Collapsing Horizon is one of those. And I feel there's a lot of potential, but it's just very hard to use that item right now in the current game. So I'm just trying to see which class can better use the item and how can I build around it so I can make it work. But yeah, without further ado, let me go back to leveling, and I can elucidate a little more. So I made a Horizon Archer a few days ago. This was my first like iteration. You see, I haven't leveled much because during one night I was thinking I don't feel that Stormweaver is going to be the better class for this for a couple of reasons. One, Stormweaver will lose a lot of her stuff by going on the physical route, but if I don't go physical route, I'm losing a lot of the item as well, and I don't feel the DPS output is going to be similar or even comparable to just like a spark cast on shock. So then I was reflecting on how Mana Leech is working currently, because if you don't know, whenever the game had released, Mana Leech was terrible. But apparently it got buffed. And then I decided to make a Chayula monk. The biggest problem with Collapsing Horizon is Collapsing Horizon has a couple of effects. The biggest one of those effects is whenever I trigger a skill, 50% of the energy for the meta gem is refunded back. So once I fill it up all the way to 100 and cast it, the next cast is gonna be starting from 50%, not 0. And that's huge because it makes so you can auto cast, you can trigger skills so much quicker than you normally would that you cannot upkeep the cost. And I feel like even like Stormweaver would suffer a lot to upkeep and do the normal setup that they usually do for their survivability. There is a build for Infernalist that actually can make everything be casted with 0 mana, but that build requires you to get a lot of uniques and go out of your way to make the build work, and I feel like the way it's structured for us to use Collapsing Horizon, Infernalist wouldn't be a good setup. Then we have Blood Mage. I think it was the other very popular choice probably for this. But the thing is, Blood Mage makes everything cost their life and use Spell Leech for that. But I also think we're gonna lose a lot of survivability by using a Quarterstaff and going melee. So I also think Blood Mage is not gonna be the best option. Then there is Legionnaire. Legionnaire would probably be one of the gooder ones, but he cannot upkeep it, simply. And Invoker, which is the elemental form of a monk, would probably be the ideal character to use the Collapsing Horizon. It screams that it was made for Invoker. But currently, with the way that the game is right now, an Invoker cannot upkeep Collapsing Horizon and do a great DPS. So we're going with Chayula instead. I think Chayula right now with Mana Leech, it is the best character to not only upkeep collapsing horizon, but it still holds its survivability because one of its ascendancies nodes allows it to use Mana Leash to also recoup energy shield. So we're gonna be having our survivability, we have our upkeep, and we won't need to ditch too many DPS in the process. That's my logic behind it. And if it doesn't work, we're just gonna move on to the next one because I really feel like there's a lot of cool unique items that are simply not being used because community is always leaning heavily on the best item and everybody just wants to make like mass income and mass currency. And I just play this game for fun and try out builds more than anything. I love killing enemies and dropping income as well, but not really to get reach or make some big DPS number. I think that's kinda like anybody can do that in a way. And I don't think that's as fun as just trying to do your thing. But yeah, we are in Act 2, almost at the end of Act 2. We are currently using Caged God for obvious reasons. I do believe that if you're trying to build a character right now in Path of Exile, I highly recommend you to buy this item if you're not playing Solo Self-Found. Any character can actually be geared to wield Pillar of Caged God, and you can just respec the character later. Most people are leveling with respec, so they're going to an ideal build, and then respecing the character towards whatever they want to do later. So I would just say go with a lot of stat stacking, use Caged God, use Wisdom, Hands of Wisdom, which is another item called Hoa. Basically, that's how we um, call it right now. That also increases your damage based on stacking dexterity and intelligence, and level your character that way. Like, it's so easy, so smooth. The leveling process is amazing. And I can see any character being able to level that way and not suffering at all. Okay, we can actually make our ascendancy if I am, yeah. Where is, because yeah, we can already ascend our character. And I decided to do it on streams because I think it's like a fun content. Most of the people that come in here never seen the ascendancy process. So why not? Yeah, if anyone has any question, I can try to answer them. Because like I know a lot of Path of Exile, I don't know everything. Especially with Path of Exile 2, people are finding a lot of new stuff, and I'm just trying to like get my bearings in the game instead of like watching many videos. I have watched videos, of course, to help my decisions, but I don't know everything. But as long as I know, I can answer. Okay, so this is very important. Um, what I like to get here is honor resistance. Why? Honor resistance is amazing for you to just be able to avoid most of the difficulties on this one thing. Like you can get hit and lose honor. So explaining to people how this trial works, you have a pseudo life that is called honor, and is like a number like 3000. Once honor is depleted to 0, you fail the challenge. You need to complete the challenge with honor. That's all. Going with honor resistance lowers the damage you take on your honor. Sorry. Yeah, lowers the damage you take on your honor, which allows you to go much smoother. And this is increasing our maximum honor. So we start with more, then we can take more damage if we so chooses to. Like I like to do this first one very like easy. And then we can get reduced damage or increased damage to stuff. Um, okay, this is okay, very good. Increases defenses are also pretty neat. Okay, we can get some water at the beginning of the trial. Okay, I think this is nice. This is over preparing, like nobody needs to do this much, especially with my build. There's no need, I do a lot of damage. But I just like the security that I'm not gonna fail. Like I don't wanna be staying here too long, especially because the other trial I feel is much harder compared to Sekma's.
I shall overcome.
And I might get stuck on that one, so I'd rather get stuck in there than here. Okay. Dodge, even though we're taking reduced damage on our honor, I'd rather just not really taking too much damage. As you see, those things are actually hitting me, but the honor damage I'm taking is so minimal. It's not even like a problem. Killing those rare enemies in here it's very like good. It can give us keys, can give us water, which is sacred water we use for a couple of things. I feel like the most important currency in this game, in this trial, is sacred water and golden keys. If you want to get like big rewards and just breeze through the game. Then I can show you a little bit what I mean. But I have a couple of friends that were like, oh, I hate Takamas, it's pretty annoying, like you cannot get hit anything. And that holds true if you're trying to go do the higher difficulties, especially if you don't have like a decent enough build. But you can easily cheese it by getting a lot of boons. And I'll show you guys what they are in the probably in the following floors. Because as you see, like a lot of people sometimes, especially whenever they're starting, they avoid the enemies, the monsters as a plague. And I am just killing everything, really. Because you see, I can get some water. What I'm looking for now is relics that probably can give me more water every time I kill an enemy. Because that would be a great way to regain my water supply. You use that water to get a couple of things inside of here, like the boons that I'm talking about.
I would give anything for...
We have bronze, bronze and silver. Silver is going to lead me to more water, so I'm gonna go here. I try to also avoid negative boons, especially in the beginning, because they can stack up. But I do feel like the monsters here are quite annoying. The spiders are like for me one of the most annoying monsters inside of Exile 2, really. Awesome. Another thing, very interesting. Uh, Evasion has a big impact on this one game mode because if you evade an attack, you actually don't lose anything. Like you don't lose honor. So if you get attacked on your health or energy shield, anything, you also lose honor. But if you just dodge the attack, you don't lose any honor. So if you have, you're like me, that you, it's like a, or you're a full evasion build or a hybrid evasion build, which I think is the safer way. Um, you're pretty much very good because you're gonna be dodging a lot of damage. Okay, I can just, yeah, finish. These snakes are annoying. Okay, let's talk about ways for you to survive. That's very important. I feel, especially early game, the one of the best survival mechanisms, and you're gonna see a lot of people are doing that. Freeze. Freeze for me is the best survival mechanism in the game, together with just stunning enemies. Because with freeze, you can just stop them. They don't do much. They're frozen, so you can just kill them slowly or quickly. Also, you can abuse something that I am pretty sure is going to be nerfed very, very soon. Herald of Ice is probably the strongest Herald right now, and it is going to be nerfed. I don't think there's any debate. The damage of Herald of Ice is pretty strong, and the clear wave it actually like allows most builds to have is insane. And it's not like I don't like it, it's just that whenever something is that good, it kind of becomes mandatory. Most builds that if you're not running Herald of Ice, it kind of decreases your clear speed by like a good amount. And I'm not saying that you have to. Again, I'm a firm believer that if you enjoy the way you're playing the game, like nobody should shame you for it. Like if you're having fun yourself, who cares? But if you do think, oh, I want more clear speed, I want to kill more enemies, what can I do? Freeze enemies and do Herald of Ice with, let me show you my Herald of Ice setup. And I haven't put many skill gems in here. This is the only important thing for Herald of Ice right now. Magnified effect. So, magnified effect, 40% more area of effect. And if you put quality on your Herald of Ice like I did to mine, it also increases the explosion radius. All you basically you just need is a very high radius Herald of Ice, so its explosion can deal with more enemies. That's all. And there's many ways for you to freeze enemies, especially on the early game. Let's say you're going with electric build and you're like, oh, how can I freeze enemies? There are many ways. You can allocate on your amulet if you have some distilled, see those little liquids on top? Those are distilled emotions. You can actually get this one node on your amulet by imbuing it with those distilled emotions. Essence of the Mountain grants you 50% extra cold damage and 20% increased freeze buildup. So all you have to do is Tempest Flurry here has Martial Tempo, Cold Infusion to grant it more cold damage, and Glaciation to increase the freeze buildup. And then you just put rage to increase the damage, but you can go for more freeze, you can go for more electric damage, you can grant more shock. There are many ways. There's also a helmet called Three Dragons that makes all your shock deals freeze instead. So most people are actually doing electric builds, so you can make all your shocks to freeze enemies instead, which is great for survivability. And then you can just remove it later and go for shock instead if you so chooses. Hello Bolivia, how are you? How have you been? Well, welcome to the stream. We're playing Path of Exile and I'm just rambling about things in the game.
I would give anything for a sip.
This is one of the most important things on the Trials of Secamus, which is you can basically buy in those areas from Balbala boons uh, using your sacred water as currency. That's why I say sacred water, if you especially want to breeze through Secamus, is your biggest ally. I'm doing well, how are you? I am doing very well as well. I woke up, I wanted to play some Path of Exile, so might as well stream it. I'm leveling this monk character, just killing some monsters, doing some trials. How was your stream? Oh, I think you've mentioned yesterday, yes. It's about your physical therapy or something different? Sorry for me to pry too much. You don't need to answer if you don't want to. To find the lever. A good thing that if you end up doing too many of those mazes that I'm doing right now, eventually you kind of like mentally record everything. So it isn't too hard for you to just navigate through them. Especially the later ones can be a little bit of a headache, but as soon as you figure out the gimmick, they become pretty easy. Oh, I hope you're all good. Yeah, we're also stacking dexterity to increase our attack speed, since, if you don't know, Cage God gives you 2% increased attack speed per 5 dexterity, and we can also combo that with Falcon Technique, 1% increased attack speed by 15 dexterity. And then we're gonna get proficiency, we're gonna get enhanced reflexes, and Vicious Skin. My old one left the office, so I had a while without one, but I finally have a new one. Okay, I hope he has a good one. I know a lot of people can have some irks about their doctor. So yeah, here, guys, is the biggest thing. If you go into the Marrakech trader and talk with Balbala by the end, you can actually purchase boons and buffs, or even honor, for your sacred water. So, boom, Assassin's Blade. The next 10 non-bosses monsters you hit are instantly killed. Monsters have 15 reduced action speed. Restore 31 of your honor when you venerate a Marrakech shrine. Restore 63 of your honor entering a boss room. See, many good boons. I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get this, and I'm gonna get this. Because there's no reason for me to just hold them back if I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Okay, let me go this way so I can get more honor before I kill the boss. They insta-killed because of... Yeah, I think I'm gonna be able to deal very easily with all the monsters in this one area. And I got the 10.
Stand tall.
Okay, let's try again. Awesome. Remembering one thing, you only get the debuff if you actually consume the water. So if you don't replenish your honor there, you don't get the affliction.
Stand clear.
Fury unleashed!
Stand clear.
Oh. If you see, I think I take more damage in my health than I take in my honor whenever I get hit by this thing.
Stand clear.
Oh. Yeah, oh, what falls. This is probably one of the most annoying parts whenever he gets to this health. Just starting to hit you with a lot of things coming from above. He's almost dead.
Stand clear.
There he goes.
Succeed.
Acolyte of Chayula. I was not expecting to make Acolyte of Chayula earlier than an Invoker, but here we are. So, Acolyte of Chayula don't have that many interesting things, but what we're gonna do is, if you know, each ascension has 8 points to expend. So our first two are gonna be in the most important ones. Mana Leech's instant And then you cannot recharge energy shield, and Mana Leech effects also recover shield. Those are the two most important things. Then we're gonna go with Chayula's gift, maximum chaos resistance, and chaos resistance is double. This is awesome because then we won't have to allocate so much chaos resistance to cap our chaos resistance. And reality rending is just a very good extra damage. It gives a lot of chances for us to get extra damage on hits with chaos. We're not gonna be able to scale off chaos, but this is just gonna be very good. It's just gonna be an extra DPS for us. So now we can already start stacking Mana Leech if we want to,
It
and I will be already on the lookout for
use
good
that
rings.
well. Rest a while.
Wait, this is awesome. 29% increased defenses. Always look on the relics that Balbala can sell by the end, because usually those are very, very good relics. Increase maximum life, and drop double sacred water is always good. I was talking about getting this as well for farming. I'm gonna get
Try
this
and
one
hope
instead, just
you
because
will
extra defense
succeed.
is good. Okay, we have two silver. Okay, we're gonna go ring. Um, let's see. Hmm. We can get body armor or helmet. I'm gonna go with body armor. This is armor, energy shield. We want energy shield and evasion, so none of this is going to be good for me. Yeah, again, if you do go with a lot of good relics and get the boons, the trial is just a walk in the park. Okay, let me move my ghost chat from where it is currently, because I think there is a better way, a better place to put it. Yeah, right here is much better.
The count. We must. Thank you.
And reduce damage, double sacred water, nice. Fountains do double sacred water. More double sacred water. Double sacred water. It's pretty neat. A lot of double sacred water. One day I would try to go full double sacred water relics and see how that goes. Yeah, now I need to look out on rings. Um, I'm gonna deal with this, but just because I do need my rings to get Mana Leech on them. On our build, especially how they're gonna be on late game, I'm gonna need both my rings to have um, the maximum amount of physical damage as Mana Leech, so I can put Ingenuity and double that effect. Or almost double, in case I have 80% Ingenuity. But if you have a higher percentage one, more power to you, you're gonna be much stronger. I always save up rings, because you never know when you're gonna need them. Life regeneration, mana regeneration. Also, I think you can just buy mana leech rings for remarkably cheap. Let's see my resistances. Yeah, I'm lacking lightning and cold, but I have plenty of fire because of the rings that I'm using right now. This ring is giving me a lot of fire. I could change this one to something that gives me cold and lightning. But yeah, I'm gonna have to eventually buy some rings with Mana Leech. Let me just store those relics on my relic lockbox. Hmm. Also, you can get increased mana leech on a couple of your gems, so you might want to go for some of them, because the more that you can increase mana leech outside of your gear, it's preferable. Why? You can get mana leech out of your rings, your weapon, your gloves, and I think from your amulet. And or gloves and your our weapon, at least for the beginning. For sure, our weapon's not gonna be a thing because Collapsing Horizon does not have Mana Leech, and our gloves probably gonna be Hands of Wisdom and Action. So again, no Mana Leech there as well. So if you can find Mana Leech on your other um, pieces, of course you need rings. Rings is gonna be or okay, I think I got disconnected. But yeah, your biggest fountains of mana leech is gonna be your rings. They're going to be doubled by ingenuity. I think that's very important for the build to actually run. And then you can get mana leech, increased mana leech, on your passive and on your jewels. So for sure you wanna get some of those jewels with increased Mana Leech. And the good thing is nobody's really looking for Mana Leech items, so just having them there is probably gonna lesser the value of everything. So if you can find, they're probably going to be very cheap. That is one of the best like upsides when you're doing something different on Path of Exile. You can buy your gear for remarkably cheap.